Welcome, viewers. As I promised you, I've kept my word. Today, it's very, very interesting. This is where the rubber meets the road. We are on our series 2 or episode 2 of matrimonial property. Let us start by defining matrimonial property. This is property that is acquired within the context of the marriage. Remember, viewers, we described the 3 forms of marriages that are legally recognized in the law. Now today, viewers, we talk about matrimonial property. Again, let us caution ourselves that matrimonial property is defined differently in different countries. For example, in Kenya, the only property that is acquired within a marriage is what we term or we define as matrimonial property. What you acquired before you got married or before you married is your property, it's not matrimonial. So matrimonial property is the only property you acquired within the context of your marriage. Of course, I've read the Ugandan law and other laws as well. In Uganda, the law has been revised in the last 2 weeks to include even what a spouse acquired before marriage as part of matrimonial property. Again, I'm saying that if you marry somebody from Ghana, if you marry somebody from South Africa, if you marry somebody from Cameroon, make sure you know how their respective laws define marriage and property. So when you go to Uganda, matrimonial property will involve or include that property that you acquired before marriage. In Kenya, matrimonial property is the property that you acquire within the marriage. So here you are, you've been married, then you divorce, and you go to court, and now either spouse can sue for property. When we sue for property, we sue for property when we have acquired property within marriage and we are separated or divorced and we need to share that property. Then you go to, you have evidence that you contributed to that property. But you go to court and you are told, we are sorry, your spouse goes with 100% of the property. Why does that happen? Viewers, let me educate you from my own experience. 1, in Kenya, you must show a clear link between your contribution and the property you are claiming. You know, once you go to court to sue your spouse for property after divorce, you are listing down the properties. You are saying there is a house in Arigam, there is a plot in Runda, there is another house in Kitengela where I live, and you are showing the papers. You must show the papers, the documentations for that property. Now, let me give you a story of a woman called Jen. Jen was working for the Nation newspaper as an accountant, and she was earning more money than her husband. As a very faithful wife, Jen, that actually is a university graduate, used to take all her money and give it to her husband because they were buying a plot in Nairobi, and later actually they put up an apartment for rental. Her whole salary she was literally transferring to her husband's account, and then the husband was using the money to buy that plot and to develop. When they separated, Jenny lost all that property. Why? She went to court and she was showing bank transactions that she transferred money to her husband's account, but she could not link that money to that particular property. What am I telling you, viewers? You can't say you gave your wife money to buy a house and there's nothing linking that money transfer to that house. What I'm telling you, viewers, if you are buying property with your spouse, you are safer if you transferred your contribution directly to the seller of that property. For example, if you are assisting your wife or husband to service a mortgage, just make sure you know the details of the person selling that house or that property. You are safer transferring that money from your account directly to the person selling that property. And that is a proof that you actually contributed to that property. Giving your wife money is not enough evidence that she bought that particular property with that money. So you need to show direct contribution, direct linkage between the money you are giving your spouse to that property you are buying. My second proof or experience is from a lady called Lois. Lois was working for the Teacher Service Commission for a very long time, and she was taking loans and transferring that money to her husband's account to acquire property. But when they divorced, she went with nothing because she could not link that contribution to that particular property she's claiming. Maybe you are giving your spouse money to buy fees. Maybe you are giving him money or her for maintenance. So please get me right, viewers. You need to show a link between that particular money you are giving your spouse to the property in question. So what am I advising us, women and men? When you are buying a property jointly as husband and a wife, make sure you transfer your own contribution directly to the account of the seller. That way you make your life very easy. The other case is for this man called Joshua. Joshua was building a house with his wife. And the plot where they were building, the plot was registered in the name of the wife. And then Joshua bought tiles to roof that house. When he bought tiles, they divorced after that. They went to court, and he went with a receipt. You know, even this receipt, I bought tiles to roof that house. But the court was asking him, how do we know you didn't roof another house in Malindi or in Kilifi? So there was nothing to show that the tiles were going to roof that particular house. Are we talking, viewers? Next time you are contributing to a property, kindly show a link between the money you are transferring to your spouse and that property you are buying. Finally, I want to talk about housewives. Housewives, don't be deceived that when you divorce, you are going to automatically get 50% of that property, matrimonial property. I'm sorry. The truth is, you either show contribution, and if you don't show contribution, your contribution was only being a housewife, then what the court does is to give you attribution. Attribution is, they just want to imagine as a housewife, how much did you contribute to acquiring matrimonial property. And that attribution, my dear, may not even be more than 5% of the total value of the matrimonial property. So don't be deceived, women, because you sit there in the house thinking because you are a housewife, you are going to get 50% of that property. Things have changed on the ground. You are just going to be given an attribution as a housewife. And your attribution, I repeat again, may be not more than 5% of the total value of that matrimonial property. Finally, if that man loves you so much and you're a housewife, your safety net is for him to include your name in all the properties that he's going to buy. It makes your life easier should he pass on before you. Why? We have seen a lot of women who have been sent away after their husbands die and they leave all the property. So by your husband including your name in that property, is going to protect you when he dies or something happens. And look at a case like mine. If you divorce and your husband and other children outside there, they are all going to share that property with you because they are legitimate children of your husband. And imagine if you took loans, you sacrificed so much to buy property with your husband, the property is in his name, then the moment he dies, you are going to share that property with anyone else who was born wherever they were born because they are legitimately his children. the court recognizes them as his children. Let me advise you the elite. Let me spoil you. If you contribute also to any property, ladies and gentlemen, just register a company with your husband. And when you register a company, let the two of you be directors. So when one of you dies, then the issue of other children belonging to other women or other people coming to claim that property, you've closed that chapter. Because the law recognizes the company as an entity. So viewers, protect yourselves, protect your property, and make sure you don't go through hassles of trying to claim matrimonial property. Goodbye for now. God bless you. Bye bye.